I'm the Robert Knoll. This is your E Open Blues Journey, Part 9. This journey has been starting with the major scale, the major blues scale, the minor blues scale. We did a little bit on the whole tone augmented. The last lesson was on the half diminished, or what we call half whole diminished. Half whole diminished meant starting half whole, half whole, half whole, half whole, giving us that really flavorful mix of intervals that we normally don't use in blues. I want to just go into a little bit about the other side of the half whole diminished that we did in number 8. I want to go over the whole half. So whole half diminished would mean I'm starting with the root E. From my root, I'm going to a major second, then I'm going to be going to a minor third, then from there, I'm going to the perfect fourth, and then to the tritone, then flat 6, or what I would call the minor 6. From the minor 6, we go to the major 6, or what you could call a double flat 7, flat root or flat 8, which is really a major 7, then you're back to the root. Root, major second, minor third, perfect fourth, tritone, minor 6, major 6, major 7, root. Then it starts over with the major second, the whole step, to the half step would be the open G, minor third. We're to our perfect fourth, our tritone, to B flat, and then we're to C, which is the minor 6, the major 6, C sharp, then our major 7, and then we're back to root. And if we continued from the root, major second, minor third, perfect fourth. Or I could finger it differently and extend into the tritone. Right? And then you're to your major 7, tritone, perfect fourth, major second, back to root, major 7, major 6, minor 6, tritone, perfect fourth, minor third, major second, root. When we start our creative to look at the key of E, whether we're playing an E major or E minor, I can bring in either the half whole diminished scale, or I can bring in the whole half diminished scale. It's going to give me different intervals. It's going to still have some of the same shape of the either the half whole or the whole half shapes. When I start jamming off this E, I realize that, of course, E, my root, my tritone always sounds good. That fourth, my minor third is a blue tone, right? And then my major second, and then my minor 6, major 6. Tritone. Minor third. So you can hear the blues mixed in with those outside tension notes. That's what's here. Let me get you a little on the distortion side of things. But you hear that nice root note, how we're playing. But we've got that beautiful root, but we've got that minor third blues note. So I'm coming up with riffs because I'm using tritone fourth, minor third, root. And then major 7 bent. Hear how I get the blues on the major 7? And then that C sharp, that major 6. like bluesing on major 6. It's a very bluesy. And then I've got that minor 6. Tritone. So I'm getting some weird stuff in there, but the tension, I know I've got it. If I want to bring it into my blues solo, or whatever kind of style solo I'm playing, that tension, that dissonance, tension and release, consonance and dissonance to a perfect 4th, minor 3rd, perfect 4th and minor 3rd, to my root. But bringing in tritone, so that interval of the major 7, minor 3rd. A lot of creativity can come out of looking at all your scales, but half diminished or whole tone diminished, instead of us starting on the root going to the half step, whole step, half step, we're going from the root to the whole step, half step. It changes the intervals, and you need to look at all of your scales, know your intervals in the key of E, and your 12 tone open E position would be great, because that way you can start to see all of your intervals in your major scale, your major blues scale, your minor blues scale, augmented or whole tone scales, and now your diminished scales and arpeggios. When we did the half step from the F, E to the F, which gave us the arpeggio, the diminished arpeggio, we can also bring that up instead of starting it on the half step from E, start it on the whole step from E, which would be your F sharp or your major 2nd. So now, so you can hear that I'm getting that outside, and that's giving me kind of a jazz maybe influence, but it's building the tension off the blues scale. Taking the traditional blues scale, and what I'm really doing, and to think about, is I'm using 12 tones now. I'm playing blues. Instead of me just limiting myself to the minor blues scale or a major blues scale or the basic pentatonic scales, I've opened up all the intervals. And that's what you can see when you look at the major scale, the minor scale, the major blues scale, the minor blues scale, whole tone scale, whole tone arpeggios, major arpeggios, minor arpeggios, and the diminished scale, whole tone, the half diminished scale, and the whole diminished scale. But we can also look at, with every scale, we have the arpeggio, your major arpeggios, your minor arpeggios. If I wanted to play the diminished from the whole tone, and I know I've got those lovely intervals of the perfect 4th now, and the minor 6, and the tritone. I'm just saying, with the arpeggios, we can also add other intervals. It's just like if I'm doing a major arpeggio, if I want to add a 4th, I want to add a minor 3rd, maybe by a hammer. Minor 3rd here. Maybe I want to add the tritone. Adding intervals to your basic triads of your arpeggios, you're just making like an E minor 7 arpeggio, a E7 arpeggio, an E9 arpeggio, a suspended arpeggio. That's getting deeper into our Trinity chord scale arpeggio. This lesson, we're really just bringing in the whole half diminished scale. So I hope this enlightens you, and maybe you heard some of the riffs and you heard the dissonance, consonants, the possibilities that you can branch out. You can be playing the blues, but all of a sudden you hit that major 7. And you blues out on the major 7 to the root minor 3rd. And then maybe that tritone. Minor 3rd root. Can you use the major 6? Lots of possibilities. Well, I hope you'll subscribe, hit the like button, send me some questions, some comments. I would love to hear from you. E-Open Journey 10 will be the end of this journey. We'll talk about a little bit more about bringing the Trinity and all of the scales together, okay? If you really want to get deeper into guitar, blues guitar, guitar lessons, beginning, intermediate, advanced, please check out my Guitar Zone on Patreon. That's where everything's there. All my charts, I get more details to all of my subscribers. You're part of my Guitar Zone family. And you're also able to join in at a tier where we can do private instruction remotely. All right, Robert Knowles, I hope you stay tuned. Hope this is getting you to think about a lot of possibilities. We don't have to be limited. If we're going to be traditional, though, we might want to stick to certain scales and certain arpeggios, certain chords. But if we want to start stepping out and being a little different, maybe a little creative in the blues, rock and roll, whatever style of music you're playing, let's branch out a little bit. Let's think about the whole tone scales, the diminished half step or half diminished or the whole diminished scale. Wow, a lot of creativity, a lot of possibilities on our journey. Stay tuned.